So this is an exercise I regularly use when warming up for jumping, or I teach it to a young horse to help the elevation in its work and to also improve the hoof-brain coordination. So just to show this exercise, today I'm using dressage boards to trot over, but you could also use raised poles. I've got them approximately 1 metre apart. Around about 10-12 metres away, I've got an area where I'm going to specifically ask the rider to do a transition. So there's a lot of preparation to be used. Then we can actually use the energy created from the boards to help the hind leg into the transition. I'm going to use the walk transition and a halt transition. Moving on to some boards out again. So again, it's all about the transition forward into the trot and the balance as early as possible to get the rhythm and the balance for the poles. So here we have a fairly young horse. She's actually a 4-year-old horse, and this shows how this exercise helps with her eye, and you can see that she's just raising the toe just enough, and this helps with the core tummy muscles and actually raising the shoulder. So it's a great exercise for a young horse. I call it taking the horse to the gym. And we're going to do a downwards transition where we get 4 or 5 good steps of walk. The horse looks fairly relaxed. And it's important to prepare that transition as early as you possibly can, then forward back into the trot, and this is where we have to really work at gaining the energy again to ride through a second set of boards. So it's a fairly difficult exercise, a really useful one. And it just shows here how, as a rider, it's really important to look where you're going and stay in symmetry with the horse so you stay in that perfect balance. Allow the horse just to soften. And this time we're going to make a downwards transition to halt. So a bit of preparation with some half halts there and forward into the transition. And again, because she just drops onto her head a little bit, it's important just to keep riding forward into it from behind to finish the halt off square. Like that. That's really a really good square halt, which is what you're looking for. Then you would ask them to move forward into the trot, and it's really important to get activity here. And this is quite tricky to do because they've halted and often they just relax a little bit. It's very important to ride forward here. And then the poles or the boards help that afterwards because it focuses the horse again on going forward. So points here to be aware of. The most important thing for me is the rider maintaining rhythm and also thinking about her preparation. It can be a really tiring exercise because you're asking for the horse to really use their shoulders and their core muscles and stop and start. So energy levels do drop, so look after those. So it's really important to praise and reward because you want the horses to know that they've really achieved something.